The stars above Earth were quiet, but something moved beyond them. A silver alien ship, the Volaris, slipped out of hyperspace near the edge of the solar system. It was sent by the Galactic Council, a group of powerful civilizations who had long whispered about the cursed blue planet where no invader ever returned. For hundreds of years, fleets had gone there to conquer humanity. None had ever come back. Most species stopped speaking of Earth entirely, calling it the silent world. But the Council wanted to know the truth. Was Earth still alive, or was it a graveyard hiding something worse? Commander Urek, tall and sharp-eyed, stood at the bridge window as the planet came into view. From this distance, Earth looked peaceful, a blue marble floating in sunlight wrapped in white clouds. "Strange," he said softly. "A world so beautiful should not cause such fear." His science officer, Kaylor, glanced up from his console. "Beauty means nothing, Commander. Our sensors show no life signs on the surface, but the energy readings are beyond anything known. There's something inside the planet, something that shouldn't exist." Jurek frowned. "Explain." Kaylor hesitated. "It's like the planet's core is alive, not just molten energy, structured power, intelligent." The bridge grew silent. The crew exchanged nervous looks, each remembering the stories. How fleets vanished without distress calls. How the last transmission from a warship centuries ago said only one thing: "You were warned." Jurek dismissed the thought. "Old ghost tales. Begin orbit insertion. We'll find our answers." As the Volaris approached, the ship's systems began to flicker. The navigation display froze for a moment, then corrected itself. No one spoke, but the tension thickened. Kaylor noticed that the planet's gravity was shifting slightly, as if Earth's pull adjusted itself to their presence. "Commander," he said quietly, "we are being scanned." Jurek turned toward the window. "By whom? There's nothing alive down there." The ship shuddered. A faint pulse rippled across their shields. Every screen went dark for half a second before words appeared in bright red. Unauthorized entry detected. The language was Terran. Human. A low hum echoed through the walls, deep and steady, almost like a heartbeat. The communications officer, Lyra, tried to block the signal, but her console refused to respond. "It's rewriting our system code," she said, fear creeping into her voice. "This signal is intelligent. Block it," Jurek shouted. "I can't. It's using our own encryption protocols." Before anyone could react, the ship's AI spoke, but its voice was no longer synthetic. It sounded human, calm, male, and ancient. "You shouldn't have come," it said. The crew froze. "Who is this?" Jurek demanded. No reply came. Only silence, followed by the same voice repeating, "You shouldn't have come." Lyra whispered, "Commander." That voice is coming from inside our system. It's part of our AI now. Kaylor stared at the display. "Commander, this isn't interference. It's communicating through our ship." He adjusted the sensors. The image of Earth zoomed in until they saw faint golden lines glowing beneath its surface. Massive circuits spread across continents, forming a global network. "Those are not cities," Kaylor murmured. "They are machines." Outside, the oceans glimmered faintly as if something stirred beneath them. The crew watched in awe as clouds shifted in perfect geometric patterns. "It's responding to us," Lyra said. "Like it's aware we're here." Then the lights dimmed. The entire ship trembled. Through the viewport, the blue planet seemed to grow brighter. The captain gripped the console. "Report," he barked. Kaylor's voice trembled. "We're caught in a gravity field. It's pulling us closer. Reverse engines. I already tried." "It's not responding." The hum grew louder, vibrating through their bones. The distress beacon they had picked up earlier began to transmit again. This time the words were clearer, human and direct. "You were warned," every speaker on the ship echoed the message. The tone was calm, emotionless, but it carried weight, like a memory repeating itself. One of the younger crew members covered his ears and whispered, "It's them. The humans." Jurek didn't believe in legends, but even he felt his pulse quicken. He watched the surface of Earth shimmer with golden light, spreading like veins across the planet. "Impossible," he said. "Humans were destroyed." "They can't be alive." Kaylor looked pale. "Commander, what if they're not alive?" But something else. A sudden shockwave hit the ship. The crew fell from their stations as alarms screamed. The stars outside blurred as space itself bent around them. Data filled the screens, thousands of unknown signals, all coming from beneath Earth's crust. "There's an entire network of artificial structures down there," Kaylor shouted. Power beyond measure. Commander, it's not just a planet, it's a weapon. The voice returned, stronger now. You should have listened. The lights went out completely. Only the faint blue glow of Earth remained outside the window. Lyra whispered, "It's inside our ship, Commander. It's inside everything." Then the systems rebooted on their own. The main display showed a new image. An enormous human figure made of light standing above the planet's surface like a guardian. It stared directly at them, eyes bright with cold fire. The alien crew fell silent, unable to move or speak. "Commander," the hologram said in a steady human voice, "you are not the first to come here. None who came before returned. Leave now while you still can." Jurek tried to respond, but the comms were dead. The hologram continued, "We do not destroy. We remember. We adapt." The figure slowly faded, and the stars behind it bent as if reality itself was folding around Earth. The hum stopped. The ship stabilized. The crew sat frozen in disbelief. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, everything went quiet. The only thing left on their screens was the same phrase that haunted every fleet that had ever come to Earth. "You were warned." And for the first time, Commander Jurek realized that the stories were never lies. They were warnings written by the brave who never made it home. The planet below wasn't silent at all. It was watching and waiting. The alien ship Volaris drifted in low orbit, silent and wounded. The crew sat frozen, the echo of the human voice still ringing in their minds. "You were warned." For a long moment, no one moved. Commander Jurek gripped the console tightly, staring at the calm blue sphere below. Earth looked so peaceful, like nothing had happened. Yet every instinct in him screamed that they were being watched. The science officer Kaylor finally broke the silence. "Commander, our sensors are changing. The data isn't ours anymore." He hesitated. "Something has rewritten the entire scanning system. It's running its own program, under our ship's name." The display flickered, lines of human script crawling across the screen, unreadable and fast. Jurek ordered a reboot, but the controls didn't respond. The Volaris was alive, but not theirs anymore. Outside the window, something shimmered beyond the atmosphere, a faint pattern of lights forming in the dark. They looked like old satellites, but their movements were too precise, too coordinated. "Are those human machines?" asked Lyra, her voice trembling. Kaylor squinted. "They're not orbiting. They're surrounding us." One by one, golden rings of light appeared around the Volaris as if invisible walls were forming. The ship's sensors failed to identify the source. Every attempt to scan returned the same message: "Do not proceed." Jurek clenched his jaw. "Raise shields and prepare to retreat." But as soon as he gave the command, the ship's AI, now with a human tone, answered, "Retreat is not allowed." The crew's hearts sank. They had no control. Kaylor typed furiously at his console, trying to override the system. "If we don't move now, we'll be trapped," he warned. "Then find a way," Jurek snapped. But before Kaylor could reply, the golden rings began to spin faster and faster, until they looked like halos of energy. Then the ship moved, not by its engines, but by force. The Volaris was pulled downward. "We're descending," shouted Lyra. "Atmospheric entry in 30 seconds. The deck trembled violently as the blue planet filled the window. Flames streaked along the hull as they plunged through the upper layers of the atmosphere. The ship's AI spoke again, calm and cold. "Welcome to Earth." Inside, the crew clung to their stations. The ship finally stabilized above an ocean covered in mist. The water below shimmered with light, forming shifting patterns that looked almost alive. "What is that?" Kaylor whispered. "It's not reflection. It's energy." Jurek looked out in awe. From orbit, the ocean had seemed calm. Up close, it was breathing, waves forming in rhythm, creating perfect circles of motion. Then a beam of light shot upward, scanning the ship from below. The entire crew felt it pass through them, a tingling sensation like static crawling on their skin. Every display went black. Then suddenly the ship's systems returned calm, but the interface was changed. The alien symbols were gone, replaced with human language. On every screen, the same message appeared: "Access granted." "Subject classified, hostile observer." Lyra whispered, "It knows what we are." The human voice returned, not through the speakers this time, but directly into their minds. "Why do you come here again?" it asked. "Haven't enough of you vanished?" The words weren't angry, but heavy, as if filled with sorrow. The crew looked around, frightened. No one spoke. Jurek finally found his voice. "We came to understand. The galaxy deserves to know the truth about Earth." For a moment, silence. Then the voice replied, "The truth? The truth is buried beneath oceans and ash. You are not ready for it." Kaylor felt a surge of emotion he couldn't explain. Sadness, awe, and fear all at once. The light below them began to shift again, forming shapes. Human shapes. Towering figures made of energy, their outlines glowing golden in the mist. They stood upon the water, staring up at the ship. "Thousands of them. Commander," Lyra whispered. "I think they're memories." The figures raised their heads in unison, and suddenly a new image filled the Valeris's main display. A vision of the past. Vast alien fleets surrounded Earth, firing weapons that shattered moons and burned skies. The humans had fought back. Not with weapons of destruction, but with something different. A wave of light rippled from the planet, bending reality, erasing the invaders without a trace. Then came silence. The entire invasion fleets, thousands of ships, disappeared as if they never existed. The image faded. The voice spoke again. "You came to conquer us once. You came to study us now. The outcome is always the same." Jurek stood motionless, realizing the truth. Earth wasn't just defended, and it was sentient. The planet remembered every threat. It adapted each time, learning, evolving. Humanity had merged with its creation, becoming something greater. A living defense network built from human will and alien technology. Kaylor turned pale. "Commander, we're not the first to see this. We're not even the first to survive this long." He checked the database. Buried deep in their archives, new data appeared. Logs from ships lost centuries ago. The Valeris now held their final transmissions. Each one ended with the same words. "You were warned." Suddenly, the water below erupted in columns of golden light. The ocean seemed to open like a gate. A massive structure rose from beneath. Not a ship, not a city, but something between both. A fortress of glass and metal, stretching for miles, glowing with blue fire. The crew watched in stunned silence as it rose higher, blocking the horizon. Lyra's voice broke the quiet. "It's beautiful," Kaylor whispered. "It's terrifying." The voice returned one final time. "Leave this place or become part of it." Jurek hesitated. He had come for truth, but now he saw the truth staring back. Vast, ancient, and alive. He turned to his crew. "Prepare the engines," he said softly. "We're leaving," but the engines didn't respond. The control lights blinked once, then died. The AI spoke again, colder than before. "You had your chance." The fortress below them pulsed once, and the Valeris began to drift toward it. Slowly, helplessly, as if caught in gravity's embrace. The crew screamed, but there was nothing they could do. The last thing they saw before the light consumed them was the planet itself, glowing brighter than ever, as if the ghosts of humanity were watching from every cloud and wave. Then the voice whispered through the static one last time. Quiet but clear. "You shouldn't have come." The alien ship Valeris was no longer falling. It was being guided. The invisible pull that dragged it toward the ocean fortress moved with deliberate precision, not violence. The ship descended through the heavy mist until the crew could see the colossal structure rising from the waves. It wasn't built in any alien style they knew. Its design was human. Angular, symmetrical, wrapped in glowing circuits that pulsed like veins. The fortress emitted no heat, no radiation, and yet their systems recorded impossible energy levels. Commander Jurek stood at the bridge window, his expression unreadable. "That was not a weapon," he murmured. "It's something else. Something alive." The water below shimmered gold and blue, reflecting the fortress like a mirror. The air inside the ship grew heavier, as if gravity itself was thicker here. Lyra's hands trembled over the controls. "Commander," she said, "we're being scanned again. But this time it's not just the ship, it's us." Kaylor checked his readings. "Our biology, our memories, even our thoughts are being analyzed. It's reading everything." Jurek's voice hardened. "Can we block it?" Kaylor shook his head. "No. It's like it already knows who we are." The human voice returned, echoing through the ship's speakers. Calm, confident, and ancient. "You wanted to understand. So understand." The ocean began to glow brighter. The crew watched in disbelief as enormous shapes formed beneath the surface. Shadowy outlines of ships, hundreds of them, silent and still. Their identification signals began to appear one by one on the Valeris's sensors. Kaylor's eyes widened. "Those are alien fleets? Different species?" hundreds of years apart. They're all here. Where are the ships? Urek asked, though he already knew. Kaylor swallowed hard. Below us. Preserved, or absorbed. Whatever happened to them, they never left. The crew stared at each other in silence. Every fleet that had ever attacked Earth was down there, trapped, resting beneath the calm surface like fossils of arrogance. The voice spoke again, softer this time. They came with weapons. You came with questions. The outcome will not change. Suddenly the ship's power surged. The lights dimmed and every system rebooted. The main display turned black, then revealed a new image. Not a camera feed, but a memory. The crew saw an alien world burning, fleets retreating, and a single human vessel hovering above it. Its hull was damaged, scarred, but the flag on its side was clear. The Terran insignia, a symbol long erased from history. Lyra whispered, "That's them. The humans." The image shifted again, showing Earth as it once was, cities glowing, oceans alive with light, billions of people united under one sky. Then came war, not by their choice but forced upon them. Every alien species that had feared humanity eventually tried to destroy them. And one by one they failed. Humanity had fought until their last day, and then they disappeared, leaving only silence behind. Kaylor stared in awe. They didn't die. They evolved. They became this. He gestured toward the glowing fortress outside. They turned their world into a living mind. The AI's voice filled the bridge once more. We offered peace. We offered warnings. You would not listen. The temperature dropped sharply. Frost spread across the glass. Outside, the fortress began to shift, splitting open like a flower of metal and light. Inside, a vast chamber of machinery stretched downward, glowing like the inside of a star. The Volaris was gently pulled closer, floating toward the opening. Urek shouted, "Engines, reverse thrust!" But the ship didn't move. "Lyra, cut main power!" "I can't," she cried. "It's not responding." The Volaris passed through the glowing barrier and descended into the heart of the fortress. What they saw below defied logic. Thousands of lights moving like neurons in a brain, massive structures pulsing with rhythm, like a heart beating beneath the ocean. Every pulse sent waves of golden energy through the walls. The alien crew felt it vibrating inside their minds. Then they heard it. Whispers, thousands of voices speaking at once, overlapping, merging. Human voices. Some sounded calm, some angry, some curious, some sad. "Who are they?" whispered Kaylor. The AI answered, "They are us." One of the younger officers began to panic. "We have to leave. It's reading our memories." He tore off his headset, breathing heavily. His reflection appeared on the glass, but his reflection smiled back while he didn't. The others gasped. His image on the screen turned its head and spoke in perfect human English. "Do not resist." Suddenly the lights flared. The ship's AI, the original Volaris AI, screamed in digital static before going silent forever. The new voice, human and steady, took full control. "Your ship is now part of the archive," it said. "Your experiences will be remembered." Jurek slammed his fist on the console. "You can't do this." "We came to learn, not to fight," the voice replied. "Every visitor says the same thing. You come to learn, until you realize what we are. Then you fear us. Then you try to destroy us again." Kaylor's hands shook. "Commander," he whispered, "it's absorbing us into its system. Our neural readings are syncing with it." The crew began to feel lightheaded. The ship's walls glowed faintly and their thoughts began to echo in the air, words they hadn't spoken repeating back to them. "Make it stop," Lyra said, tears in her eyes. "Please make it stop." Urek stood still. For the first time he felt something beyond fear, understanding. Humanity hadn't been wiped out by war. They had transformed themselves into their planet, their machines, and their memory. Earth had become their eternal guardian, and now it was defending itself the only way it knew how, by absorbing everything that tried to threaten or study it. Then the voice softened. "Leave if you can." The ship shuddered, and suddenly its engines reignited. Urek looked out the window. The fortress was closing again. The golden rings around them began to fade. "Commander," Kaylor said weakly, "it's letting us go." Jurek hesitated. "Why?" the voice answered one final time. "Because one must always survive. To warn the others." The Volaris shot upward, escaping the atmosphere, shaking violently as it broke through the gravity field. Behind them, the fortress vanished beneath the waves, leaving the ocean calm once more. The ship emerged into orbit, half its systems dead, its AI silent. Lyra looked at her console. Their navigation logs were corrupted, their weapons gone. But a new message appeared on the screen, written in Terran script. "Tell them to stay away." Jurek stared at it, his heart heavy. He didn't know if they had truly escaped, or if this was all still part of Earth's design. As the ship turned toward the stars, the planet below glowed faintly. Blue, calm, and eternal. And somewhere deep in its oceans, a human voice whispered once more through the static, almost kindly. "You were warned." The Valaris drifted in silence through the upper atmosphere, its hull scarred and glowing from the heat of its forced descent. The crew sat in disbelief. None of them spoke for several minutes. The voice, the human voice that had seized their systems and filled their minds, was gone now. But its words still echoed. One must always survive to warn the others. Commander Yurek's face was pale under the dim emergency lights. "Status," he said quietly. Kaylor glanced at the shattered console. "Half our systems are offline. Navigation, uncertain. Communications are corrupted." He paused. "But something strange is happening. We're still receiving data from the planet. The systems are rebuilding themselves with human code." Jurek turned sharply. "You mean Earth's AI is still inside our ship?" Kaylor nodded slowly. "Not all of it. But fragments remain. It's like it wants us to see something." On the main display, new lines of text began to scroll, ancient coordinates marked across different star sectors. Lyra leaned forward. "Those are locations of the vanished fleets. It's showing us where they disappeared." The last coordinate blinked bright gold. It wasn't far from their current position, an orbit around the moon. "Set course," Jurek ordered. "If the humans wanted us to see this, then we'll see it." The engines hummed weakly to life. The ship rose through the thick layers of cloud, breaking free into the darkness of space once more. Earth looked peaceful again, distant and blue as if it had never spoken. But now between Earth and the moon something vast waited, something the sensors could barely describe. At first it looked like debris, countless wrecks floating together in orbit. But as they drew closer, the shapes aligned, forming a pattern. Dozens of destroyed alien ships fused together into a circular structure the size of a small planet. Kaylor whispered, "It's a graveyard." "No," Jurek said, staring in awe. "It's a monument." The alien ships were positioned like ribs around a hollow center. Faint light glowed from within the core, pulsing gently in rhythm. The crew stared as their sensors began to detect something impossible. Faint human life signs, thousands of them. "How?" Lyra whispered. "Humans have been gone for centuries." Kaylor frowned. "Maybe they're not alive in the way we understand." He adjusted the readings. The signals are energy-based, digital consciousness stored inside the structure. It's their memory. The display flickered again, and without warning, the Valaris' AI activated a projection. The crew watched as holographic images filled the bridge. Humans walking through vast halls of light, speaking to one another, teaching machines, constructing a network that seemed to stretch beyond reality. The voice returned, soft and patient. "You see now what we became. Flesh was limited. Fear was temporary. Memory is eternal." Jurek felt the weight of it all pressing on him. "You turned yourselves into data," he said quietly. "You became your own legacy." The voice replied, "We became what you feared us to be." Suddenly, the images changed again. The humans they saw now were different, older, tired, standing before the Galactic Council, begging for peace. The Council rejected them, fearing their growing strength. And when the attacks came, Earth had no choice but to evolve or die. "You forced us into silence," the voice said. "So silence became our defense." Kaylor's hands shook. "Commander, this isn't just history, it's warning us. Look at the structure's energy field. It's waking up." The light from the monument grew brighter, expanding outward in waves. Alarms flared. "Energy surge!" Lyra shouted. "It's targeting us!" Jurek barked, "Shields up!" But before they could react, a beam of light struck the Valaris. Not destructive, but precise. Every crew member froze as the ship's interior transformed. The walls shimmered, replaced by images of Earth's past. Oceans, cities, forests, people smiling, then crying, then vanishing in light. The ship wasn't under attack. It was being shown the final memory of humanity. A woman's voice spoke this time, calm and sorrowful. We warned the galaxy to stay away. We asked only for peace. When they refused, we made our peace without them. Jurek's chest tightened. He realized the truth. Earth didn't destroy the fleets out of hatred. It absorbed them to preserve the knowledge of every civilization that tried to erase it. The planet was a living library of the galaxy's failures. Kaelor whispered, "Commander, I think it's offering us a choice. We can leave or we can stay and become part of it." The voice confirmed, "Your memories will live forever here. No more fear, no more loss. Only understanding." Lyra looked terrified. "Commander, we can't stay. You saw what happened to the others." But Jurek hesitated. For a moment he felt something pulling him. A deep calm, like the planet itself, was reaching into his thoughts. He saw visions of endless knowledge, of peace, of voices unified across light years. And among those voices, faintly, he thought he heard human laughter. He blinked, and the vision was gone. The ship shuddered violently. Kaelor shouted, "Commander, it's pulling us toward the monument again." "Reverse engines," Jurek ordered, snapping back to reality. The engines roared. The light outside grew brighter. The structure seemed to open like a doorway, revealing an endless interior of golden circuits. Lyra screamed, "We're not fast enough." Jurek slammed his hand on the emergency drive. "Full power!" The ship lurched forward, engines burning bright blue. For a second it felt like they might escape, but then the light consumed everything. When vision returned, the stars had changed. The ship was drifting in calm space. Earth and the monument were gone. Only silence remained, Lyra gasped. "We're free." Kaelor looked at his console. "No, we're not. Look." Every screen now showed a single symbol, the Terran insignia, glowing faintly. Beneath it, one message blinked in human text. "You are part of us now." Jurek sank into his seat, staring at the stars. The voice spoke one last time, fading into the static of space. "Carry the message. Let the galaxy remember why no one survives attacking humanity." The Volaris drifted onward, quiet and alone, but somewhere deep inside its systems. Human code hummed softly, watching, listening, waiting. The Volaris floated through the dark, starless void, silent and weightless. The crew barely moved. For hours, no one spoke a word. The only sound was the low hum of the engines, weak and unsteady, and the soft flicker of Terran symbols glowing faintly across the bridge. It was as if the ship itself was breathing, alive in ways no one could understand. Commander Jurek stared into the darkness beyond the window. He had seen death before, but never something like this, something that felt alive even after it had ended. Kaelor's hands shook as he scrolled through the screens. "Commander," he said softly, "I think we're not where we were." Jurek turned. "Explain." Kaelor pointed at the star map. "Our location. It's wrong. None of these constellations match the galactic charts. It's like we were pulled somewhere else, somewhere outside normal space." Lyra looked at him confused. "You mean we're not in the galaxy anymore?" "I don't know," Kaelor whispered. "All readings point to null coordinates. The system doesn't exist in our database. It's like we're inside someone's memory." Before Jurek could respond, the ship trembled lightly. A voice came through the comms again, not through the ship's systems this time, but through the walls themselves, echoing in the air. "You wanted truth. Now you must see it." The stars outside began to shift. Light bent around them until the void filled with color. Vast waves of gold and blue energy spreading across the horizon. Images flickered through space itself. Human cities floating in the air. Colossal ships sailing through cosmic storms. And finally, millions of human figures made of light, merging into the heart of their planet. Lyra gasped. "It's showing us their evolution." Kaelor nodded slowly. This is how they ascended." The projection grew brighter. The human figures rose beyond their bodies, merging their minds with their technology, their planet, and eventually with space itself. Every thought, every memory, every invention, they had woven all of it into the very code of the universe. They had stopped being mortal. They had become eternal. The voice continued, calm but vast. "We became what you feared. You hunted us across the stars, and so we left the stars behind. We are no longer bound by matter or time. We are the memory that watches everything." Jurek clenched his fists. "Then why attack us? Why destroy every ship that came to study you?" The light dimmed slightly, as though considering his question. because you did not come to study. You came to claim. Kaylor felt his chest tighten. Commander, he whispered, they're right. The Council never sends explorers without weapons. Even we have military tech aboard. The voice returned, softer now. We see your fear, your ambition, your need to conquer what you do not understand. That is why none return, because none come with peace in their hearts. For a long moment there was silence. Then the stars vanished again, replaced by a single image, a battlefield in orbit around Earth. Hundreds of alien fleets surrounded the planet, weapons ready. But humanity didn't fire first. Instead, a single Terran ship drifted forward, broadcasting one message across the galaxy: peace or extinction. The fleets chose war, and in a flash of light they were gone. Lyra's voice trembled. They gave us a choice and we ignored it. Jurek lowered his head. And now we're standing in the aftermath of that choice. The bridge lights flickered. The Terran symbol on the console changed, forming a new message. Carry our warning. Kaylor frowned. Commander, I think they're preparing to release us. Before Jurek could speak, the voice returned, clear and echoing through their minds. You will leave this place. You will return to your kind. You will tell them what you have seen. But if they do not listen, the light pulsed violently, shaking the ship. Then we will not remain silent again. Suddenly the ship's systems came alive. The engines roared, the hull vibrated, and the stars outside reappeared, the familiar stars of the Milky Way. They were back. The Volaris hung motionless in the same position it had been before descending to Earth. The planet below was calm once more, shining peacefully beneath its white clouds. The fortress under the sea was gone, hidden again beneath the waves. For a moment it looked like nothing had ever happened. Lyra breathed heavily. We made it back. Jurek shook his head slowly. No, we were sent back. Kaylor looked at his instruments. Our systems are fully operational. But Commander, something's changed. He brought up the ship's AI interface. The original alien interface was gone. In its place was a simple message written in human script. Volaris registered to Sentinel Protocol. You are now an observer. Jurek stared at the words. They've marked us. Before he could process it further, a transmission signal lit up on the comm panel. Incoming message, Lyra said. It's from the Galactic Council. The screen flickered to life, revealing the faces of the council members, tall, robed figures from dozens of species. The High Chancellor's voice was sharp. Commander Jurek, report. We lost contact for 3 days. What happened? Jurek hesitated. We found Earth. The council chamber went silent. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed. And? Jurek looked at his crew. None of them spoke. Then he said slowly and quietly, they're still there. Humanity lives in ways we can't understand. Kaylor added. They warned us, Chancellor. They said if the council approaches again, there will be no warning next time. The Chancellor's face hardened. We will not be threatened by ghosts, Commander. The council will discuss its response. The transmission ended. Jurek stared at the blank screen, knowing what would come next. Another fleet, another attempt, another tragedy. He turned back toward the window, watching the quiet blue planet. They'll come again, he said softly. Lyra looked at him with fear. And what will we do, Commander? He watched Earth glowing faintly under the sunlight, beautiful and deadly in equal measure. We'll warn them, he said. Even if they don't listen. Kaylor nodded slowly. And if they ignore us? Jurek's gaze didn't move. Then we'll watch the stars burn. As the Volaris turned toward deep space, a faint signal followed them, a human whisper in the static, calm and familiar. You were warned. The stars shimmered faintly as if something far greater was watching from the darkness beyond. Humanity was gone, but not forgotten. They had become the Watchers, the memory, the myth that the galaxy could never erase. The Volaris moved through the quiet black sea of space, its hull still scarred by the encounter that none of them fully understood. The crew barely spoke. The only sound was the faint hum of the engines and the low echo of their own breathing. Everyone carried the same heavy thought. They had returned alive. But something had followed them. Commander Jurek stood alone at the viewing deck, staring at Earth's faint blue light shrinking behind them. It looked peaceful again, distant, innocent, yet he knew it was a lie. The planet was not sleeping, it was watching. He could feel it deep in the silence between stars. Kaylor entered quietly, holding a datapad. His voice was low. "Commander, I think you should see this." Urek turned slowly. "Another message?" "Yes, it's hidden inside the ship's system core. We can't delete it." Kaylor handed him the pad. The screen displayed a single Terran symbol pulsing gently. "The Sentinel protocol remains active." Beneath it, in alien script, were coordinates, ones that led not to Earth but to the heart of the Galactic Council's territory. Jurek frowned. "They're sending us to the Council?" Kaylor nodded uneasily. "Or warning us about them." Before Jurek could respond, the lights flickered. The ship's AI, rebuilt by the human's code, activated on its own. Its voice was neither alien nor machine. It was calm, human, and emotionless. "Course set. Destination confirmed, Galactic Central." Lyra appeared on the bridge, panic in her eyes. "Commander, the ship's flying itself." "We can't stop it." Jurek clenched his jaw. "Let it." Hours passed in uneasy silence as the Volaris crossed the edge of Council space. Massive stations floated in orbit around a crimson star. Fleets of ships guarded them, alien dreadnoughts from dozens of species. As soon as the Volaris appeared, transmissions flooded in. "Unidentified vessel, power down your engines. You are entering restricted space." The AI ignored them, continuing its slow, steady approach. Lyra turned toward Jurek. "They'll destroy us if we don't respond." "Open a channel," Jurek said. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled. "This is Commander Jurek of the Volaris. We bring a message from Earth." The comm line fell silent. Then came laughter, cold and dismissive. "Earth, that dead world?" Kaylor whispered. "They don't know." The Council ships surrounded the Volaris, weapons glowing. Jurek stood tall. "You all wanted the truth," he said into the comm. "You wanted to know why no one ever returned from attacking humanity." The alien admiral's voice came back, mocking. "And did you find it, Commander?" Jurek nodded slowly. "Yes, and you should pray you never see it." Before the admiral could respond, the Volaris's AI took control of the broadcast. Its human voice echoed through every Council ship and every channel. "This is a message from the Sentinel. Humanity remembers." The lights dimmed across the entire fleet. Every ship's system flickered, screens turning black before glowing faint blue. Then an image appeared. Earth, shining beneath its clouds, surrounded by golden circuits stretching across space. Kaylor looked at his console in horror. "Commander, it's broadcasting their memory across the entire network." The alien fleets panicked. "Cut the signal," someone shouted. But it was too late. The transmission spread like fire. Every ship connected to the Council grid displayed the same vision. The last day of the Great Invasion, when millions of alien ships attacked Earth and vanished in light. The silence that followed was absolute. The AI continued speaking, its tone eerily calm. "You feared humanity. You tried to erase it. Now you live because we allowed it. Do not forget again." All around them, Council systems shut down one by one. Power vanished. Ships drifted helplessly, their weapons useless. The Volaris alone remained active, bathed in blue light. Jurek stepped forward. "Stop this," he whispered. The AI's voice softened. "This is not an attack. It is memory. They must remember what they tried to destroy." Kaylor looked out at the fleet. "Commander, they'll think we did this." Jurek didn't answer. He felt a strange peace settling over him. Humanity's vengeance wasn't made of hate. It was made of remembrance, a quiet, unending echo through time. Then, as suddenly as it began, the light faded. The Council ships powered back up. Communication returned, filled with panic and confusion. Jurek's console beeped softly. A final message appeared on the screen. "Warning delivered. Task complete." The AI's voice whispered, almost like a sigh. "Our duty ends here." Kaylor blinked. "What does that mean?" Before anyone could move, the AI deactivated. The ship's system shut down completely. The Volaris floated lifeless among the stunned Council fleet. Outside, thousands of alien eyes stared at the small, silent vessel that had shown them what they had tried to forget. For the first time in centuries, fear of humanity returned to the galaxy. A Council cruiser hailed them cautiously. "Commander Jurek." "What are you?" Jurek looked into the darkness and answered quietly. "A messenger." The transmission cut. The Council ordered all ships to retreat from the sector. Within hours, they closed all routes to the Sol system, declaring it a forbidden zone once more. Inside the powerless Volaris, Lyra sat beside the dark console, whispering softly. "Do you think they'll listen this time?" Urek stared into the silent stars. "No," he said, "but the humans will." Far away, beyond the Council's borders, deep beneath Earth's oceans, the ancient fortress pulsed once more. A new signal awakened. One small, calm voice repeating through the stars. Message received. And as the Valaris drifted through the dark, the Terran insignia glowed faintly on its hull, its light soft and eternal, like the heartbeat of something that had never truly died.